the cameras flashed, the red carpet crowd completely froze, and, just like that, without saying a single word, Hollywood had a new obsession.
That was an absolute showstopper.
It really was. Aubrey Plaza quietly welcomes her first baby with Christopher Abbott. That was the headline that just broke the internet.
And honestly, the way they did it was brilliant.
Welcome to StarScope Report. Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we are diving deep into the stories behind the fame.
So glad you are here with us for this deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we are looking at a stack of sources, including breaking news from TMZ, timelines from Fandom Wire, and some really in-depth articles from IB Times.
Yeah, we really had to pull from everywhere for this one.
Exactly, because we want to unpack this incredible headline. Aubrey Plaza, who is, notoriously protective of her privacy, stepping out at the 2026 Tony Awards with an undeniable baby bump.
Cloaked in that amazing, coordinated black and white outfit with Christopher Abbott.
Right. And there was no press release. There was no Instagram post. Just this visual confirmation that carried its own absolute clarity.
Which is so rare these days. It was this masterclass in public relations through total silence.
It really forced the whole entertainment ecosystem to just pause. So our mission today is to trace this complex timeline.
Right, because there's so much more happening beneath the surface here.
There is. We are going to separate the actual facts from all the online speculation. We want to see how these public figures navigated, unimaginable grief overlapping with profound new beginnings.
And for you listening, this is why you should care. This isn't just standard celebrity gossip.
No, not at all. It's a study in resilience. It's about how you guard your privacy when the whole world thinks they own your narrative.
Exactly. And later in the deep dive, we'll talk about a shocking twist in their timeline that nobody saw coming. You really don't want to miss it.
So if you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you are subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead. But let's get into it. Let's look at the foundation of this relationship.
Right, the creative crucible.
Yeah, because to understand this new chapter, we really have to look at how they first connected. It wasn't at some flashy Vanity Fair party.
No, it was forged in a highly intense professional environment way before any romance rumors started.
They crossed paths back in 2019, right? On the set of the indie psychological thriller, Black Bear.
Yeah, 2019 into 2020. And that is a crucial starting point because Black Bear is this fiercely tense, deeply psychological movie.
I remember watching it. It was incredibly dark. Plaza plays a filmmaker who goes to this remote lake house with a couple, played by Abbott and Sarah Gadon.
And the dynamic is just heavily charged. It demands total emotional exposure from the cast.
But the funny thing is, Plaza noted they didn't even really meet or talk until, the day before shooting started.
Which is wild when you see their chemistry on screen.
Right. And I have to admit, I'm always a bit skeptical when actors say working together creates this unbreakable bond. We hear about co-stars despising each other all the time.
Oh, absolutely. Once the cameras stop, they can't stand each other.
Exactly. So what makes an indie set like this an exception? Why does it act like a pressure cooker that builds trust?
Well, it comes down to the mechanics of the production. On a massive Marvel movie, you have huge trailers, months of rehearsals, places to hide.
Yeah, lots of distraction.
But an indie thriller, it's tight, you're isolated on location, the budget is small, and you are tapping into incredibly raw human emotions take after take.
So you're just stripped of your normal defenses.
Exactly. You are literally forced into this state of mutual reliance just to keep the scene from falling apart. If your partner isn't catching what you're throwing, the film fails.
Oh, wow. So it's less about becoming besties and more about this intense creative synchronicity.
Precisely. They built this unique professional vocabulary. But, and this is important, at the time it was purely professional.
Right. Plaza was in a long-term relationship then.
Yeah, so that trust they built just laid dormant for years.
Until we fast forward 4 years. November 2023. They reunite, but this time there are no camera tricks. No multiple takes.
Right. They did an off-Broadway revival of Danny and the Deep Blue Sea.
From November 2023 to January 2024. And if an indie set is a pressure cooker, an off-Broadway two-hander is a total crucible.
Oh, without a doubt. It's a John Patrick Shanley play. It's about two deeply lonely, self-loathing strangers in a Bronx dive bar.
Just the two of them on stage for 80 minutes.
Night after night, the psychological endurance for that is just immense. You can't hide from a live audience.
There's this quote from Abbott during that run that I keep thinking about. He notoriously hates doing interviews, but he was asked about the performance.
Oh, I know the quote you mean.
Yeah. He said that obviously they wanted to entertain the audience, but he personally just wanted to, quote, entertain Aubrey.
Which is so revealing, it shows this closed loop between them.
Yeah, like they were speaking a private language.
Totally. They were building a world just for the two of them, hidden right in front of hundreds of people.
And Plaza said the exact same thing about wanting to entertain him. But this isolation they built on stage is so significant when you look at what was happening behind the curtain.
The contrast is just staggering.
Because while they were connecting on stage, a deeply tragic timeline was unfolding in her personal life, one that would change everything.
It's a really heavy pivot, but it's crucial to the story.
It is. We have to talk about the heartbreaking loss of Plaza's husband, filmmaker Jeff Behena. And I want to warn you listening, we're discussing suicide here.
Yeah, we want to handle this with immense care.
Absolutely. And it's critical we look at the actual documented timeline from medical examiners and police records.
Yeah.
Because, man, the internet just ran with its own assumptions.
The official timeline completely dismantles this sensationalized narrative the public tried to spin. The reality is much more complex and deeply human.
Right. So Plaza and Behena met back in 2011 at a game night. They collaborated on films like Life After Beth and The Little Hours.
They had a massive shared history. Over a decade.
Yeah, and they got married in their backyard in 2021. But according to TMZ's records, they had quietly separated in September of 2024.
That is the data point that fundamentally changes everything.
It really does. They were separated for months before the tragedy. She was living in New York, doing her play while he was in LA.
Right. It wasn't a sudden falling out the day before.
But here's what confused me about the mechanics of this. If they separated in September, why is she the one initiating a welfare check on him in October?
It's a valid question.
Police records say he made concerning remarks, and she immediately called a friend to check on him, which led to him starting therapy. But wouldn't she be trying to distance herself?
Well, this highlights a big misconception society has about separation. We think it's this clean, clinical severing of all ties.
Right, like you just flip a switch and you don't care anymore.
Exactly. But when you've spent over a decade with someone, the romantic end doesn't just extinguish your basic human care for their well-being.
That makes a lot of sense.
She was across the country, but she was still a deeply invested anchor in his life. She took definitive action to protect him.
But tragically, it couldn't prevent what happened. On January 3, 2025, his dog walker found him dead by suicide at his LA home.
The details from the coroner's report are just devastating.
They really are. No illicit drugs, no alcohol, no documented prior attempts. And he actually texted Plaza at 7:36 a.m. that very morning.
It is the definition of an unimaginable loss. Suicide leaves this chaotic void of unanswerable questions.
And doing that while being famous? I can't even imagine.
It adds this surreal, almost impossible layer of difficulty.
I really have to push back on how the public reacted too. People instantly tried to force this into a clean cause and effect narrative.
Oh, the internet always wants to connect dots even when they shouldn't.
Exactly. They ignored the fact that the separation happened way before his passing. Why do people rush to fill in the blanks with such invasive speculation?
Psychologists actually call this terror management theory. Suicide reminds us how fragile life is, right? How little control we have.
So it scares people.
Yes. So if the public can invent a reason or point a finger of blame, it creates an artificial sense of order. It makes the tragedy feel less random.
Oh, I see. So by blaming the separation, they're just soothing their own anxiety about death.
Precisely. But grief doesn't follow a script. Plaza had to navigate the trauma of his death while dealing with this barrage of public speculation. It requires a mental fortress.
A fortress! That is the perfect word for it. And wait till you hear how she eventually addressed it, because it was so powerful.
She finally spoke about it briefly on Amy Poehler's podcast months later, right?
Yeah. And there was zero PR spin. She just said, quote, "Overall, I'm here and I'm functioning. I feel grateful to be moving through the world. I think I'm okay."
I think I'm okay. That is so raw.
Right.
It's the unvarnished voice of someone walking through the fire, taking it one day at a time.
Well, after that, she naturally retreated from the spotlight. But when she reemerged and the narrative shifted to her new relationship with Abbott and her pregnancy, wow.
The way she handled it left everyone speechless.
Stay with us, because we're going to unpack exactly how she pulled off this brilliant media strategy. And hey, Hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our future deep dives.
Seriously, her re-entry into public life is the total opposite of a modern celebrity rollout.
We're so used to the exclusive magazine cover or the crying Instagram video.
Oh, or the highly produced documentary explaining their trauma.
Exactly. But she rejected all of it. The first rumors started in July 2025, over a year after her separation, 6 months after Bona's passing.
And where were they spotted? Not at a Vanity Fair party.
No. At Chatham Berry Farm in upstate New York, just sitting at a picnic table, rubbing his back.
And then courtside at a Knicks game in November.
These are such low-stakes re-entries.
Yeah.
It's so deliberate. They aren't hiding, but they aren't performing for the cameras either.
They're just living a grounded life. If they get seen, they get seen.
Then, in April 2026, their reps confirmed to the press they are expecting a baby in the fall. And the quote was so brief.
What did it say again?
It just called the pregnancy a, quote, beautiful surprise after an emotional year. And that was it.
Think about the heavy lifting that one sentence does. A beautiful surprise after an emotional year.
It's brilliant.
It acknowledges the grief, it honors the tragedy without minimizing it, but firmly pivots the narrative toward hope.
And it gives away zero intimate details about how they actually navigated it.
Right. The fortress with a single drawbridge.
Yes. She lowers it just enough to drop a massive fact, I'm pregnant, and then yanks it right back up. No interviews, no access.
In our algorithm-driven world, the gossip machine needs constant fuel. By offering bare facts, she completely starves the algorithm of its oxygen.
She did make one comment on the Smartless podcast in April, but it was so deadpan.
Oh, I loved this.
She said, well, there's a baby inside of me. I've always wanted to see what that's all about, you know?
It totally deflates the melodrama. The public demands this hyper-emotional script from pregnant stars, and she just refuses to play along.
Abbott did the exact same thing on the Today Show. They congratulated him. He said it was very exciting, and then literally pivoted the conversation back to his Tony nomination.
There's just too much going on, he said, and just changed the subject.
Right. Which makes me wonder, are we all just socially conditioned to believe that if something big happens, we have to document and share it?
We absolutely are. Social media tells us an experience isn't valid until it's publicly consumed.
Exactly.
What they are proving is that you can experience profound grief and joy and keep the core of it entirely for yourself. Your life isn't just content.
Which brings us back to that cinematic visual from the beginning. The Tony Awards in June 2026.
Such a great moment.
Abbott is nominated for Best Featured Actor for Death of a Salesman. They arrive matching in black and white and let the baby bump answer all the questions.
It's a masterstroke. She satisfies the media's demand for confirmation without speaking a single word to a reporter.
And the narrative stays entirely on supporting her partner's artistic career. But the pregnancy was confirmed, and they had one more surprise up their sleeve. And it happened right in the streets of New York City.
Yeah, this was the perfect conclusion to their timeline.
Sunday, August 9th, 2026. Plaza is photographed stepping out in NYC.
Oh.
Black tank top, sunglasses, carrying her newborn wrapped in a beanie.
TMZ confirmed the baby girl was born in late July, completely under the radar.
Just a casual Sunday stroll, not a lit paparazzi exclusive. But I want to run a theory by you about this timeline.
Okay, let's hear it.
That NYC sighting with the newborn. It happened right after Christopher Abbott's final performance in Death of a Salesman.
Oh, wow. I didn't connect those dots.
Yeah. So the bump reveal is tied to his Tony nomination, and the newborn reveal is tied to his final curtain call. Both major life reveals are tethered to his theater milestones, not her Hollywood movie premieres.
Is it a deliberate rejection of the Hollywood machine? I think it is.
It has to be, right?
It's a deliberate signaling of their values. Remember where they reconnected so deeply? The theater.
Danny in the Deep Blue Sea.
Right. The stage is a sacred space for them. By tethering their personal milestones to his theater schedule, they are actively prioritizing their grounded life in New York over flashy Hollywood rollouts.
It shifts the narrative completely. It's no longer Aubrey Plaza, the movie star, has a baby. It's Aubrey and Chris, the working theater actors, are building a family.
It roots their family in the artistic work they value. It's a statement of intent for how they plan to live.
When we step back and look at this entire journey, the arc is just incredible.
It really is.
From the intense pressure cooker of indie films to the absolute vulnerability of an off-Broadway stage.
We saw the profound tragedy she endured with the loss of Jeff Baena and the impenetrable boundary she kept against public speculation.
And finally, arriving at the quiet joy of building a new family on their own terms. It's a powerful reminder that you can move through grief and life at your own pace.
You can keep the drawbridge raised until you alone decide it's time to lower it. Joy and sorrow aren't mutually exclusive.
They really aren't. They can overlap in the exact same timeline, and you have the right to experience both privately.
Beautifully said.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. Think back to that play they starred in, Danny and the Deep Blue Sea.
The one about two isolated people finding a lifeline in a dive bar.
Exactly. They perform this night after night, right in the midst of Plaza's grieving process and the dissolution of her past life.
The thematic parallels are just staggering.
Right. Makes you wonder, did the art they created merely mirror their reality? Or did stepping into those vulnerable roles every night actually provide the framework they needed to write the redemptive next chapter of their actual lives?
That's the true mechanism of art, isn't it? Sometimes the fictional worlds we build provide the blueprint we need to survive our reality.
I couldn't agree more. You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.
Keep asking the hard questions, keep looking beyond the algorithms, and we will see you next time.